Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news, all right. Folks, hold on to your seats because the NFL landscape is shifting, and the Giants are right in the middle of it. Recently, there's been some explosive chatter about a potential trade that could significantly reshape the Giants' defensive line, and consequently, their entire defensive identity moving forward. We're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs potentially trading Chris Jones to the New York Giants. Yes, you heard that right. Chris Jones, one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the league, could soon be donning the Giants' blue and white. Now I know what some of you are thinking. What would this mean for the Giants? Well, let's break it down and get into the details because this isn't just some rumor, it's a game changer. First, let's talk about the context. The Chiefs, after winning the Super Bowl last season, have been slightly in flux. Their record of 6-10 in the previous season signals a team that's perhaps in a bit of a rebuild phase, especially after the Mahomes era reached new heights, but now seems to be facing some growing pains. That's not uncommon in the NFL, especially for teams that have been Super Bowl contenders for several years. The Chiefs are looking to shed some salary cap space, and trades are a part of that plan. According to the latest sources, Kansas City is open to moving Chris Jones in exchange for some draft capital, specifically a second-round pick in 2026 and a fourth-round pick in 2027. This move would free up around $23 million in cap space, which the Chiefs could then redirect toward younger players or extensions for their existing core. For the Giants, acquiring Chris Jones would be a massive boost. The team's interior defensive line has been a point of concern, especially with injuries and inconsistent performance. Jones, a towering force on the inside, is known for his ability to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. He's a player who can dominate the line of scrimmage, stop the run at the point of attack, and collapse pockets with brute force. His presence would instantly elevate the Giants' run defense and put more pressure on opposing quarterbacks, giving the secondary more opportunities to make plays. It's not just about the raw stats either. Jones's disruptive presence is often felt in the way offenses have to scheme around him, freeing up teammates and creating mismatches. Let's talk about his profile. Jones has accumulated an impressive 92 sacks over his career, along with 365 total tackles, 16 forced fumbles, and a PFF grade of 91.6. That's elite production for a defensive tackle. His 2025 stats include 13 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, 37 quarterback hits, and 50 total tackles, despite being limited to just 14 games due to a shoulder injury. Even in a somewhat down year, he produced at a high level, echoing his 2024 performance with 11 sacks. His style is reminiscent of a peak Fletcher Cox, excellent at winning double teams, plus 17%, with a low YAC allowed in tackles and forcing significant negative EPA in run plays. When healthy, Jones is a game changer, capable of turning the tide of a game on his own. Now, why would the Chiefs be willing to part ways with such a key player? Well, their defensive points per game, 24.6, are higher than what they'd ideally want, and they're focusing heavily on bolstering their offensive line and secondary. They've already invested in extending their defensive backs and are trying to rebuild their roster with a focus on younger talent. Trading Jones would not only clear about $30 million in cap space, but also net them valuable draft picks, which they could use to address other areas of need, especially the interior defensive line and linebacker positions. The belief is that Kansas City is in a bit of a rebuild mode, or at least trying to retool efficiently after a few tough seasons. The recent 1-4 stretch over their last 5 games of last season raised some eyebrows, and they're definitely looking to set a new course. For the Giants, though, this isn't just about adding a star. It's about transforming their defense into a true force. The interior defensive line has been a weak point, suffering from injuries like McFadden's absence for most of 2025, which allowed opponents to run wild in the middle. The addition of Jones would be a game-changing move. Imagine a front four with Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Chris Jones. Opposing offenses would have a nightmare trying to run or throw against that. The numbers speak volumes. Adding Jones could lead to a reduction of around 22 yards per game on the ground, while boosting interior pressure and sacks. Projections suggest an increase of about 13 more sacks from the inside and a 13% improvement in EPA per run stop. That's serious upgrade material. When comparing Jones to current Giants defensive tackles, the difference is stark. Jones averages about 1.7 tackles for loss per game, creating mismatches against centers and guards. His ability to beat double teams and rush the passer is elite, and he's a significant factor in disrupting the opponent's game plan. His presence would also force offenses to double-team him less often, opening up opportunities for others. It's similar to what the Rams did when they acquired Aaron Donald. Adding a dominant interior disruptor can elevate the entire defense by leaps and bounds. The Giants' front seven would see a plus 14% increase in efficiency, and the secondary would be reinforced, becoming more formidable against both the run and pass. Their run defense, which has been top 9 this season, could improve even further, perhaps reminiscent of the dominant 2018 Giants defense, which was known for its relentless stopping power. Now, fans are naturally curious about the impact this could have on the Giants' pursuit of a deep playoff run. The addition of a player like Jones would significantly boost their chances, especially in a division that's becoming more competitive each year. It's no secret that the NFC East is becoming a battleground once again, with teams like the Eagles and Cowboys always in the mix. But if the Giants can add a player of Jones's caliber, they immediately jump into the conversation as serious contenders. His influence isn't just about the stats, it's about the morale, the leadership, and the intimidation factor that a player like him brings to the field. And speaking of the big picture, this move could also impact the Giants' Super Bowl ambitions. Jones's presence would cut the odds of the Giants winning it all from plus 5,000 to roughly plus 3,000, a 40% increase in their chances, similar to what the Buccaneers experienced when they signed Ndamukong a few years ago. His ability to pressure the quarterback, EPA of -0, 48 on inside pressure, could be the X factor that elevates the Giants' defense to elite status. With a front seven that's more disruptive and a secondary that's more confident, the Giants could become one of the most feared defenses in the league. Of course, no move is without its risks or questions. The Giants would need to balance the cap considerations and make sure that this trade aligns with their long-term strategy. But looking at the potential on-field benefits, it's hard to ignore how transformative Jones could be. It's not just about acquiring another star. It's about fundamentally changing the dynamic of the Giants' defense and setting a tone that says, "We're here to contend, and we're not backing down." The fans have been hungry for a truly dominant defense, and this move could finally give them that. In conclusion, this potential trade to land Chris Jones is more than just a headline. It's a bold statement from the Giants' front office. They're aiming to elevate their roster to new heights, to be serious contenders in the NFC, and to finally re-establish a top-tier defense that can carry them deep into the playoffs. Whether it happens or not, the buzz is real, and for Giants fans, it's an exciting time. The possibility of watching Jones terrorize offenses in the Meadowlands is enough to get anyone fired up for the upcoming season. The Giants are making moves, and the NFC East better take notice. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Chris Jones would be the piece that finally puts the Giants over the top? Or are you cautious about giving up draft capital for a player who might have injury concerns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. Remember, this is a team that's always fighting, always striving for greatness. And I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Giants news. Let's keep this conversation going and keep the passion alive. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, Giants fans united in our quest for another Super Bowl.